for those who love it loud. Pantheon Podcast presents Rockin' Pod Weekend, Nashville, March 17th through the 19th. It's a rock convention featuring panels, interviews, podcasts, signing sessions, vinyl, comic books, pop culture, and collectibles. Over 50 celebrity guests, including members of Mr. Big, Tough, Great White, Keel, Winger, Accept, and Twisted Sister. Live concerts including Rare Hair on Friday, Keel Fest 2 on Saturday, and Eric Martin's Big Acoustic on Sunday. Plus a rockin' comedy show featuring Courtney Cronin-Dold, Don Jameson from That Metal Show, and Craig Gass from The Howard Stern Show, and a whole lot more. Full details at rockinpod.com. Rockin' Pod Weekend is presented by Pantheon Podcasts in association with RFK Media, Third Power Amplification, and BobbyDreyer.com.
Hey, what's up? This is Sully from Godsmack. Strap on those boots, baby, because you are now in the trenches of the war room with the one and only Mistress Carrie right here on the Mistress Carrie podcast.
What's up? This is Joe Rogan, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Her hair so lovely, pretty eyes.
Hey, this is Brent from Shinedown, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie. Hey, Carrie, go put your bra on, girl.
Hey, this is Steven Tyler, and you be listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
What's up? This is Aaron from Stain, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Hi, everybody. This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, and you're listening to the one, the only Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is David from the band Disturbed, and you're listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
Hi, Bruce Dickinson here from Iron Maiden. Yes, indeed, Miss Whiplash herself, Mistress Carrie, is here to unchain your brain.
Hi, this is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You're listening to Mistress Carrie.
This is Dennis Leary. You are listening to my favorite, Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is Corey from Stone Sour, and you have the privilege of listening to Mistress Carrie. Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, reporting for duty from MCHQ for this bonus episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast. Full-length episodes of the Mistress Carrie podcast come out every Wednesday. Every weekday, you get the sit rep. The Situation Report has got all your rock news, music headlines, and industry info in 5 minutes. But then every once in a while, you get a bonus episode. My guest this time is Adam Gontier from Asonia, who are out on the road as part of the Rock Resurrection Tour with Theory of a Deadman and Skillet. Matter of fact, Tyler Connolly from Theory of a Deadman is episode 142 of the Mistress Carrie podcast that came out yesterday. I had a chance to sit down with Adam while he was in a basement of a club in Milwaukee and talk about the Rock Resurrection Tour. And as I head back to Vegas for a couple days before the tour rolls into Boston, Adam and I talked about our last trip to Vegas. We also talked about the battle between work and home life and his love and admiration of Pearl Jam and Eddie Vedder. If you check the show notes of this bonus episode of the podcast, you'll be able to find the 2 St. Asonia episodes. You'll also find the link to the Resurrection Tour coming up this Saturday night, February 25th at Roadrunner in Boston. You'll find Adam Gontier's links online and St. Asonia's, and you'll find the Mistress Carrie links. So allow me to reintroduce you to Adam Gontier from St. Asonia. Mr. Adam Gontier, hello.
How's it going?
It's going all right. You look like you're in someone's basement. Where are you right now?
We're at the Eagles Ballroom in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee's a party town.
A party town?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for this guy.
Not for you, but like a party town, meaning like people are up to have a good time, like passionate music fans, shows are always good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we've been to this venue a few times, and it goes off. It's going to be fun tonight.
You guys are playing this new place in Boston on Saturday night called Roadrunner.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, looking forward to it. Should be cool. I think there's a few venues on different venues that, we haven't played before on this tour. So it's kind of nice, and a few different ones, But yeah, Roadrunner in Boston, that'll be fun.
Boston's not a city that changes a lot. It's right. Known for kind of liking the way things are and staying that way. And we've got over the last few years, like 3 new live music venues in the city, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. I guess, yeah, it's cool. It's nice to see things happening and, shows happening again and everybody touring and just all that stuff. It's nice to see everything picking back up,
Well, we've spent some serious time talking on the show. You guys were, I think, episode number 8 when I launched the podcast 3 years ago. And obviously in 2020, we were kind of in the height of craziness. And then we also talked kind of at the end of last summer, just about working on new music and you guys, releasing a new EP and stuff. And then they announced this Rock Resurrections tour with Theory and Skillet. And I was like, okay, yeah, we're back now.
Yeah, we're back now. Yeah, it's nice. It's been a long time since we've been able to, just play shows and tour and support the music that we're putting out. So, yeah, it's just to be a part of this tour. It was definitely a no-brainer. A couple good bands and great people. So far so good. We're just a few shows in now, and it's going really well.
Can you tell the enthusiasm coming from the crowd? Not only just being excited to be able to be at a show, but excited to be at your show.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. And it's amazing. It's crazy because it's been, like I said, it's been a long time since we've been out and, it's been a long time since we've seen these people in these towns. And it's, the vibe so far has been amazing, really cool.
And the bands that you're playing with, you guys have all known each other. Skillet, Theory of a Deadman, like you guys have all known each other for so long. So it's got to be kind of nice for you. Like, not only are we out of the house, but we're out of the house with friends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's funny because we, back in the day, in 3 days when we started, Theory took us across Canada on basically our first tour kind of ever, at least our first big tour. And then I think it was back in 2006 or 2007 that 3 days we took out Skillet on their first. They had been a band for a while, but their first sort of bigger tour. So it's crazy. Yeah, it's just wild how it all comes full circle.
Well, you're talking about Skillet. You did a song with them too. So you've been kind of like branching out and working on some other stuff. Are you guys playing that song on this tour?
Yeah, we are for sure. I wasn't actually too sure if it was going to be in their set, but it definitely makes sense to do it. Seems like people really enjoying the song, so figured we got to do it live. And their show is really cool. So it's nice to get up closer towards the end of the night with their production, and they're just they're super professional and a lot of fun to like just to bounce around the stage with.
It's called Finish Line, right?
Yeah, it's called Finish Line. It's out now, and people are able to grab it.
Is that a song that you guys worked on virtually because of the pandemic? How did that work?
Yeah, we did it remotely, but it's actually a song that Skillet had already recorded on an album, and I think it was 2018. So they just they asked if I'd want to be a part of a re-recording of it, basically. So they kind of redid it and made it a little bit heavier and with some bigger guitars and stuff like that. And just kind of re-released it on this newest album that they put out.
So you made it, last time we talked, it was kind of towards the end of, warm weather, and we were getting ready to go into the holidays and stuff and kind of talking about hunkering down for the winter. So what happened around the holidays? Anything good?
Well, around the holidays, I actually moved down to Nashville. So to our place in Nashville. So I kind of got out of the weather. I sort of beat the bad weather down in Nashville. But then over the holidays, it got pretty nasty actually in Nashville too, pretty cold and icy and rainy and stuff. So, but just family stuff. I mean, it's nice to, knowing that we were going out on tour is pretty important to just get some family time in and hang out with everybody, So yeah, aside from heading down to Nashville is pretty much all we did.
Wait, as a Canadian guy, it's got to crack you up when people in Tennessee think it's cold.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it really does. It's crazy. Like if they get just a little bit of little bit of snow, or a little bit of freezing rain, just a little bit. I mean, they shut down schools, and everything is shut down. Just like it's another day for me. I'm out driving around, going to stores and stuff. But yeah, it's a different world, that's for sure. Gets a little bit chilly, and it's at the end of the world.
I mean, here we're still having iced coffee in a blizzard. Like, come on.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You and I were texting back and forth because last fall I was in Vegas for my birthday, and all of a sudden I get this message from you, and you're like, hey, are you still in Vegas? You want to go to a show? And I literally was like on my way to the airport. I was heartbroken.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wasn't sure if I'd catch you or not, because I had seen that you posted a few things about like you were there for a few days, and I had a feeling I was getting you too last minute, and you're probably on your way out. But I had I had tickets for the Eddie Vedder show at Dolby Live, and he's pretty much my favorite singer artist of all time, so I had to do it. And I had another ticket, and but timing was off. So I actually ended up reaching out to Jason Hook, and we went.
Wait, hold on. Jason Hook got the call after me?
Yeah. He got the call after you. Yeah.
Take that, Jason.
Yeah, he'll be happy about that, actually, won't he?
How was the show?
It was one of the best shows I think I've ever seen. His band, Eddie's band, I think they're called Earthlings.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous, the players that he has in that band. I mean, he had Chad Smith on drums, and he had his producer, I'm drawing a blank now, Andrew Watt was on guitar. So they were just monsters, musically. So it was crazy. He just did a whole bunch of Pearl Jam stuff, and he said it was a great show. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, I'm so glad I missed it. Thanks, Adam.
It's not my fault. I guess I could have hit you.
Eddie Vedder is one of those guys that when Pearl Jam broke, right, when 10 came out and became this phenomenon, people back then, the cynics were like, what, they're not going to be like Zeppelin. Like, they're not going to, like, remember that whole early 90s thing when grunge really hit? And people were trying to figure out who the bands were going to be that kind of were going to stand the test of time. The guys in Nirvana just got a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Grammys, and obviously Pearl Jam is still out. Like, it cracks me up now to think about it. The cynicism that came from that genre of music, that people didn't think grunge was going to last, and two, that people, looking at a band like Pearl Jam and a singer like Eddie Vedder, that at the time people they thought it was a phase. Yeah, exactly. And I think, they obviously stood the test of time, but there was a lot that didn't, like a lot of, but that style, like his style of vocally, his style of singing and everything it caught on, and that was definitely a phase, fad or whatever for a while. But yeah, it's crazy to think about it. I guess because grunge was seemed like it was such a huge change from what was popular at the time and what was on the radio and stuff, like going from the late 80s bands and, from Motley Crue and stuff to Nirvana and Pearl Jam is a little bit different. So yeah, there's always skeptics, right? Especially when music starts to change, there's always people that are just like this, man. And the good stuff always sticks around. Like, even with all of that 80s stuff that people said was, just polished and fun and like whatever, but the good stuff always sticks around.
Yeah. They turn into classics, and they never ever go away.
And arguably one of the greatest debut albums of any artist at any time. At Pearl Jam 10, like, every song's a hit. Sure.
Yeah. I fully agree. I think it is that. And just from my point of view, that, and I think Live's debut, I guess it was Throwing Copper. Was it Throwing Copper was their debut? It was,
I think so. Yeah.
I think that, and that's just, as a 14-year-old kid, I thought, but yeah, still, I'd say Pearl Jam 10 is definitely arguably one of the best debut albums of all time.
And maybe Appetite for Destruction. You know, that band that just announced a stadium tour this summer. We could throw Guns N' Roses in there too.
Yeah, they were okay.
Yeah.
I loved them too, obviously, like everybody. That record was a huge part of my life, yeah.
But when you talk as a singer, when you talk about looking up to a singer like Eddie Vedder, I just had this conversation with Mark Tremonti about Miles's voice, right? And how lead singers have to be careful on tour about talking too much. So first of all, thank you for talking to me on a show day.
Of course.
But number two, Eddie Vedder doesn't strike me as the kind of singer that got into singing going, oh, hold on, I need to protect my instrument. Like that was part of his thing, is just kind of like busting the power through the graveliness of it. And
absolutely.
So as a singer yourself, how much emphasis are you putting on protecting your voice versus wanting it to have that edge and grit to it?
You know what? I've always, I mean, for me, I've always not really warmed up all that much, and not really I haven't been like that either. Like I just talk, the way I normally do every day, and just kind of, and it's worked. Like all the years that I've been doing it, it's worked. We started touring in 2003, I guess, so about 20 years ago or something. So yeah, and I've always done it the same way, and it's definitely, I mean, my voice is a little weak today just from the first 3 shows out on tour, in a long time. So, but get into a groove, and it seems to lock in, and then it's just good to go. But yeah, I'm pretty bad with that, actually, like warming up and looking after it and stuff. I think I've been really lucky that I haven't had any serious problems with my throat. Knock on wood,
I forget who I was talking to, and I'm going to get comments on this episode yelling at me that I can't reference it properly, but I interviewed somebody recently, and they met Ronnie James Dio.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that he just did a shot of whiskey and went out on stage, and that Ronnie James Dio didn't do any kind of vocal warm-ups, and it's Dio.
Right. Yeah. That's crazy, huh? Yeah, I think some singers can just do it. They just go out and do it, and it's kind of, I mean, when we do a set, it's kind of just, I don't really do anything before, like maybe sing a couple notes and scream a couple words, but that's really it.
Well, I gotta talk to you about Mike, obviously. Like the other 2 times you've been on the show, you and Mike Mushak have been on the show together, and the announcement came through that he wasn't going to be on these dates on the tour. So you got to give me the skinny. Is it a Stain thing? Like, what's going on?
You know what? It's not a Stain thing. He's not busy doing Stain stuff. Although they are working on, new music and stuff. So, but he actually had a family thing that he had planned for a long time, and it was actually quite a long trip. So he's got some family stuff he's got to do that he couldn't get out of. So yeah, there's a bit of that, and then there might be a couple days later on that in this tour that he's got to work on some Stain stuff. But yeah, just in general, he was busy, and we got offered this tour semi last minute, I guess, or he had stuff planned. So, but he is fully 100% still still a guitar player in this band. He just couldn't do this tour, and he's a busy guy, especially with Stain stuff happening. He's got a club, and he's got all sorts of stuff happening. So, sometimes you can't make it out, and that's all right.
It's definitely one of those things through COVID that I think a lot of people have learned that a better, I hate to use a phrase that is just so beaten down at this point, but the work-life balance. I'm sitting here with the bunny quotes, is I think we're all trying to focus a little bit more on not being so one or the other, either work or not work, that just trying to make sure that we are paying attention to our private lives while also still wanting to pursue life's passions, dreams, and a career.
Yeah, for sure. It really opened up. I mean, being locked down at home, not being able to go out, not being able to work and stuff, it really opened a lot of eyes to how much time and effort we put into other stuff aside from family, So I think you're absolutely right. It was definitely an eye opener. And it's nice to be able to do stuff from home, but at the same time, we got to get out and play shows. So
and it's nice. It's nice that you have a friend that you can call up and go, "Hey, can you come on this tour with us?" Which is pretty awesome. Otherwise, St. Asonia wasn't going to be able to go.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that Tavis Stanley from Adelita's Way and former Art of Dying and everything. He's just a monster on guitar, and he's an amazing guy, an amazing person, and a friend of ours forever. So we got really lucky that he was just able to do it. If he wasn't able to do it, I'm not 100% sure what we would have done. I think we still would have done the tour, and then chances are good we would have been a 3-piece. I would have tried to shred Mike solos, and that would not be a pretty sight.
There's a lot of pressure. I just talked to Billy Sheehan from the Winery Dogs, and he's like, when you're in a trio, there's no room for error.
No. Yeah, we did one festival in Canada this past or last summer or whatever, and Mike wasn't able to make it, so we did it as a 3-piece, and it was stressful, kind of. The 3 Days Grace, we started off as a 3-piece, so I had some of that under my belt, but with the solos and stuff that are in these St. Asonia songs, it was a little bit more pressure.
Well, you guys are going to be at Roadrunner in Boston coming up on Saturday night. In between now and then, speaking of Vegas, I'm going to Vegas and taking the red eye back to make the show.
Really?
Yes.
Well, thank you. You don't have to do that.
So when I see you Saturday night, I'm going to have that Vegas fog that everyone knows about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know all about it. Yeah. Well, we'll look after you.
I'll be showered.
Right.
But I'm going to be a little rough. So I'm just warning you.
That's all good. No judgment here. Been there, done that for sure.
And then when the Rock Resurrection tour is done, you're talking about Mike having to, work on some Stain stuff, but what's kind of the blueprint for the rest of the year for you guys?
Well, I think the plan is to take a couple months at home and then hopefully get on another tour in the fall. And we're sort of talking about this tour. There might be a good possibility this tour might continue on in the fall. Theory and Skillet and us. Seems like a lot of people are enjoying the bill and would like to try to get it booked across other cities. So hopefully that happens. And if not, we might do a Canadian tour in the fall with Finger 11. That might come up, hopefully. But we're basically just waiting on something to happen in the fall.
But definitely looking to get back out on the road. Not hold up in the studio and work on new music right now.
Not right now. No, we haven't been on the road for so long. We really want to just keep going, until we can't anymore, basically.
Well, there's lots of crazy weather coming through. So hopefully you make it out of Milwaukee without being in a snowdrift. And hopefully I'm going to survive Vegas over the next couple days.
Yeah. Yeah, we just heard about that. There's some kind of storm or something happening here soon.
Yeah.
So hopefully we don't get caught here in Milwaukee.
Yeah,
I'd rather come to Boston here shortly.
Well, yeah, they have great cheese there, but you know how much Boston loves you, so you got to get the bus east.
Yeah, we will. We'll be getting here early tonight, I think, just to make sure.
All right. Well, I will see you guys on Saturday night.
Awesome. Thank you. And have fun in Vegas.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try and nap on the plane. We'll see how that works.
All right. Well, we'll see you Saturday.
All right. I'll see you Saturday. See you later.
Okay. See you, Carrie.
There he is, Adam Gontier from St. Asonia. See him Saturday night at Roadrunner in Boston as part of the Rock Resurrection tour with Skillet and Theory of a Deadman. And those are just two of the bands featured on the corresponding playlist for this episode. I make a playlist for every full-length episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast and every bonus episode. to not only showcase the music of my guest, but also all the music and artists that we talked about in the interview. When you check the show notes, you'll also find St. Asonia's other appearances on the podcast, the link to get tickets to the Rock Resurrection Tour this weekend, and all of Adam's links, St. Asonia's links, and my links as well. And that includes the link to MistressCarrie.com, where you can find all the episodes of the Mistress Carrie podcast, every episode of my video show Cocktails in the War Room, my blog, my concert calendar, and you can even shop in the online Mistress Carrie store. New full-length episodes of the Mistress Carrie podcast come out every Wednesday, and you can always find me on the radio on The Mistress Carrie Show. Get all the details on that and more at MistressCarrie.com. The Mistress Carrie podcast, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network.